Then they can finally see us getting ready to go live on Facebook. Start the live video. Yeah, my beatbox is broke. Yes, my beatbox is broke. Oh, somebody joins. Yes, yes. How are you? Okay. I don't know who you are yet. Okay. Hey, Miss Poindexter. How you doing, baby girl? And hey, baby. Hi, sugar. I'm so excited about today's show, you guys. I appreciate you being here. And I've got a great show for you. Let me tell you, I've got someone very special in the building today. Let me tell you. And Miss Patricia, I think you're really going to enjoy him. I do. Hey, TJ. How you doing, girl? Hey, Mr. Armstrong. I see you, Mike. You big cowboy fan, you. I'm not going to speak on them since you're on here because that would be rude. My feelings have changed over the years. I'll just say that. But you guys, I have a very special guest in the building. I know who, and this person is very, very, very important to me. And I feel like it was about time that I brought him onto the podcast so that he can share some of his views on the events and things that are going on in the world. Because hey, Miss Ashley, beautiful girl, how's that baby? How's that baby? Gotta come and see that baby. But yes, he's definitely my backbone. He is my rock. And so I thought I'd let you guys meet him, and we will have after our relationship topics, we will have answers, questions and answers. And so, with no further ado, my special guest today is my husband, David
Hey,
Cooley.
how y'all doing?
Yes. It's my baby, y'all. So he's going to definitely, he good with him fat self. Oh, I love me a old fat baby though. They the best ones. Old skinny baby don't get no love. A fat baby get everything. I'll give him some of them macaroni and cheese. Oh, he can eat the mac and cheese. Hey, Miss Sherry with Vision Entertainment, Vision Productions. She is the woman. If you don't know her and you think you somebody, you ain't nobody. You gotta know Miss Sherry Green. You don't know Miss Sherry Green, you ain't doing nothing. I'm just telling you now. Gary Owens. Now Gary Owens will tell you it's Gary Owen. Gary Owen, and he don't look like Gary Owen. He don't. But yes, but Miss Ashley, yes, definitely keep feeding that baby. Get that baby some cereal. Don't listen to them doctors. That baby can eat some cereal. Yes, he can. And so, yes, we are going to discuss a lot of things. There's so much going on politically, but I didn't want to just weigh the show down with political topics. So I have incorporated some fun relationship topics. And I have also incorporated I want to get a good debate going, a good rap debate, so we can finalize everybody's best rappers lists and things like that. We need to get that. We need to get some things understood. We need to get some things understood. And if you ever need excuse me, y'all, but Miss Ashley, if you ever need a babysitter, please let me know. I will come get that baby. I will love on him. Oh my goodness,
Might not get
girl.
it back.
They said you might
Might
not
not get
get
it
her
back.
back. He already knows I love me some babies. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing started, and we're gonna start with we want to talk about the Amtrak's train derailment that happened yesterday morning. Prayers out to the families that lost someone or know someone that was affected by this train crash, which was totally unfortunate and totally preventable. All the best rappers came from the 90s. Yes, they did, girl. And we're going to debate three of them. We're going to debate three of them. We're going to get this political stuff out the way because I feel like, and just so that y'all know, I'm going to make a big announcement on the show as well because things are changing. But one thing I do want to keep solid with this hey, Miss Chia. Thank you for your support and your love. I really appreciate it. You helping me push this platform. I sincerely appreciate you, sweetheart. But I just want y'all to know that I'm always going to tackle the political stuff because I don't feel like we have enough voices breaking down things for us. So if I've got an understanding or grasp on something that I feel like they're trying to swoosh over our eyes or move past us, and you better believe you come to this podcast and I'm going to be talking about it. Or if there's something that you want more information on and you don't quite understand the processes, hit me up on my inbox and I will research it and we'll cover it on the next week's show. Because again, this show is about speak your mind, but I also want you all to start participating more. I do have a gift card giveaway today for, I'm gonna say, the first caller that calls in after I start taking calls. If you call in, then you can get this $25 gift card. So hey, we ain't rich, but hey, we can give you something for participating, and we do appreciate you all support. So we're gonna get back to this Amtrak's train derailment. How unfortunate was that, baby?
Well, I tell you, it's not a surprise that it happened. Unfortunately, if y'all might remember, just a couple of years ago, they had a bad wreck up in the Northeast. I think it was outside of Philadelphia.
Yep.
Very similar deal. Train going too fast, going around a curve, went off the rails, killed a bunch of people, and they've got a system which they've been talking about a lot. What's it called? Positive train control or something like that. Which there's a GPS system that will keep you from doing that. It will automatically slow the train down if the train's going too fast. And, of course, they haven't built it yet. And there's a couple of reasons why they haven't built it. Number one, the railroads don't want to pay to build it. And number two, Congress doesn't want to make the railroads build it for the private railroads, and they don't want to fund the money for Amtrak to build it for Amtrak. So they've literally been trying to get this thing in place for almost 30 years.
Yes.
And they still haven't got it.
And they're not going to get it.
By the way, Trump just cut like $640 million from the infrastructure request that Amtrak put in for this year's budget. It was cut from the Republican budget. So while he's on Twitter talking about how everything's going to be better now because the previous administration didn't do it, which admittedly they didn't, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed and nothing's gonna change because not only it's like he's been in the office for almost a year and he still hasn't even laid out his infrastructure plan. He keeps threatening us with this great infrastructure plan, but he can't produce it.
You know, you always talk about how you can tell what someone's real priorities are by their actions rather than their words.
Yeah.
So let's see what has really been important, because I would have been behind an infrastructure plan.
Absolutely.
To me, if you put money into infrastructure and you gotta increase the debt a little bit to get it done, but we know bridges are in bad shape, roads are in bad shape. Infrastructure also includes things like high-speed internet for instance, the inner city. There's all kinds of things that go into infrastructure that I would be perfectly willing to increase the debt if we were going to do that. But of course, he hadn't done that. He's been attacking. There we go. I'm a novice at this. I'm new at
this. It's okay, my baby.
There we go. Is that better? He hadn't done any of that. You know, It's all about killing Obamacare, issuing executive orders to undo everything. And, you know, we all know that Obama couldn't get a lot of things done because Congress wouldn't let him get it done. So his answer was executive orders. You know, I'm going to do what I can do just by signing the pen. Here's the problem. If you do things just by signing the pen, then the next guy can come along and undo it just by signing with a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that also means that the next guy can come along and redo it just by signing a pen, but that's not really a good way to do things,
that's not
obviously. So a president does need a Congress and does need a little bit of help to get things into legislation. That's why it's been so hard to kill Obamacare, because Obamacare is a law, not just
an executive order.
But so he's been, you know, all about the executive orders, and I think we're going to talk about regulations at some point and all the things that are going on there. And he's been trying to kill Obamacare. He's been appointing judges that, you know, I don't know if they ever cracked a law book, but he's got them up there.
No. Did y'all see that? Did you see that exchange between those judges that he tried to appoint? Dude went down the list. He's like, have you ever been in a courtroom? No. He said no to everything. Like, dude had zero judicial experience and was actually being appointed to be a federal judge, which is a lifetime appointment.
In D.C., in the D.C. Circuit Court.
Oh,
so
my
they
gosh.
get a lot of nationwide cases there. That was an important position that luckily he dropped out.
He dropped out along with two others because they just were not equipped at all. And yes, it's all about talking the talk, but not necessarily walking the walk. He's never going to do that. And the actual legislation that they've been trying to push was supposed to have went into effect in 2015, but it got pushed back by Congress. And y'all know that the Republicans have been owning Congress since 2010. So that's the reason that Obama couldn't get anything done. He tried to get a lot done in his first 2 years because when that midterm came, we didn't show up. I mean, I did, but I was by myself. So a lot of seats got lost. So he didn't have the majority. So he had a reason to do a massive amount of executive orders because he couldn't get anything done because they vowed to vote no on everything that he tried. So he had a reason to do executive orders. Trump's doing executive orders because there's just no unity and no type of order in the Republican Party. They own the executive branch and they own the House and the Senate. There's no reason that anything that they want, I'm happy. Oh, don't get it twisted. I'm glad they can't agree. But it's just sad that he's just being an authority. How you say an authority?
Authoritarian.
Thank you. I chew up words all the time. My baby's right there to clean them up for me. But he's trying to be an authoritarian, and that's just not the type of government we have. We have a democracy. And so
he hadn't figured that out yet.
He hasn't figured it out.
He's all about, sitting behind the desk and not really having to know anything. I mean, Let's face it. I said when he was elected, everybody's, well, he's a businessman. He's a businessman. He's going to run the government like a business. Here's two things. Number one, I don't agree with running the government like a business because you run a business to make money, and government is about counterbalancing business to me and making sure that all the decisions that are made aren't all about making money, which of course means making money for the people that already have money, not usually for people who don't have any money. It's supposed to be about all of us. That's number one. Number two, he's not a businessman.
Nope.
He's not. He's a New York City real estate promoter. He talks a good game. He knows how to get people to invest their money in real estate projects, which when they succeed, he gets rich. And when they fail, they lose money. He doesn't lose any money when they fail because he's playing with other people's money.
Yep.
He doesn't really have to know a whole lot because he's got other people that do that. He's just the face of the company. He's got his name on it. He's the hype man, that's what I call him. So if you hear me say the hype man, I don't like to say his name too much because I feel like, honestly, when I'm like commenting online or writing a piece or anything, I try not to use his name because that's all he cares about is his name being out there.
Yeah.
So I might call him 45. I might call him the hype man. I might call him the current occupant. John Lewis, who I have great respect for, calls him the president-elect.
Right. Still calls him that. It's so dope every time he says it.
But I try not to use the T word any more than I have to.
Yeah, but and I'll say it because I feel like I need to rub it in Americans' faces because y'all voted for this fool. But it was so funny. I saw a journalist. He almost called him just Trump. And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Trump." I'm like, he's supposed to be President Trump.
So what's going to happen next year then? So like you said, we didn't do Obama any justice. We really didn't. I mean, there's some things that he did that I liked, and there's some things he didn't do that I wish he would have done, and there's some things he did that I didn't like, but I certainly feel like he was a great president. I really feel that way. And I feel like he got a lot accomplished considering the headwinds. So what's going to happen next year, do you think?
What do I think is going to happen? I think it's going to be beautiful. But let me go ahead and let y'all know that that's where he and I differ. I like Obama as a person. He likes Obama as a president. He probably ranks him in his top 5, as would I. But I just don't like to give him a lot of the credit that my husband and a lot of other people give him. I mean, no, the world didn't end when he became president and stayed president for 8 years. I mean, I give him credit for that. But I just feel like there were measures that he could have taken and actually made Trump undo, like a measure with criminal justice reform, any type of federal measure with an executive order. I don't care if make Trump come back and undo it. Make him explain why he's undoing it. There was a lot of things that were discovered under the Obama administration with police brutality, with criminal justice that he saw, and he didn't make enough moves for me to actually fix a broken system. He did some things, though. I give him that, but he didn't do enough, not nearly enough. But that's all beside the point. I just had to let y'all know that he and I differ on that ain't no like situation, he wouldn't have got a third term out of me. But I probably would have voted for him over who? I probably would have voted for him over Hillary and over Trump.
But not over Bernie.
Not over Bernie.
No.
No, nobody's getting a vote over Bernie. Bernie's in the running. I don't care if he's running as a purple person. I'm voting Bernie. I'm sorry. And Bernie is still schooling them. He's trying to save us, which is bringing us to our next topic, the tax bill, which I don't think is as bad as it was the last time we spoke on the tax bill. But I'm telling you, Bernie is he's lighting fires, and he's trying his best to fight for us. Everybody didn't think he was about anything. But women, Marshall Woodland says comedians are making money off of Trump. I can't wait until I get my T-shirts printed. Yeah, I'm just as a comedian, there's a lot of funny things, but right now I just don't feel like laughing. I just wish somebody would be bold enough to slap him.
Or throw a shoe at him.
Throw a shoe at him. Throw a pair of shoes at him like they did George W. See how good those
Bush
reflexes
moves,
are.
Though. He did.
He did. Bush had the moves. He was ready. He was bobbing and weaving. He was like, what else you got? What else you got? He did it over there. He did it. Him right there did it. Who was that? Cedric the Entertainer. That was hilarious. But we do want to talk about this tax bill. Now, the House passed the tax bill, but there was some type of technicality, so it has to go back and repass the House. And right now, the House has got some type of funk going on the House floor. Now, to our knowledge, they haven't done anything with the PAYGO system. The what's it called? Pay as you go.
Yeah, PAYGO. So, well, first of all, I mean, if you see Paul Ryan on TV right now, he's just grinning like a fool. All the Republicans are walking around. If you see a bunch of Republicans in suits walking around grinning, you better put your hand on your wallet, because something's getting ready to go down. They are as happy as can be.
Yep.
Because I'm telling you, there's a couple things this thing is going to do. And you don't listen to them. Don't listen to them, because it's all about freedom and liberty and giving money back to the American taxpayer. This is what you're going to see. This is what I think you're going to see. Come February, you might see they're figuring what, babe, about $1,000 a year.
Maybe.
Okay, so if your withholdings go down, you might see up to what, $75, $100 a month extra in your paycheck, because they're not withholding as much at best.
I don't even think it's going to be that high.
Probably won't even be that high.
Because a lot of people don't even have that much withholding to begin with.
Yeah.
Like they're talking about this big $1,000 tax cut. I can remember working at jobs, and my hourly wage was so low that my federal income taxes was zero. So how are you going to give me a break off of zero?
I mean, I just don't see where you're going to see, just the average person's not going to see more than $50 out of their paycheck, out of their 2-week paycheck. That's about what they're going to see. But I'll tell you who's going to make some money is going to be, the business owners. And so what they say is, well, we're going to repatriate all this money. All this money they've got overseas is going to come back.
Nope.
All this, they're going from 35% down to 21%.
Yep.
And they say all the business owners are going to take that money and they're going to hire people.
Yeah. And they've already said they're not.
Raises.
And they've already said they're not.
I challenge anybody to go into your CEO's office tomorrow and ask that dude or lady, now that you've got this huge tax cut, are you going to give me a raise? Are you going to hire more people around here? No, they're not going to do any of that. They're not. I guarantee you who's going to get it. The shareholders, first of all. If it's a publicly traded company, their shareholders are going to get it. Or they're going to buy back shares and eliminate their own company debt.
Yep.
Or they're going to give management bonuses.
Yep.
Or if they want to invest in anything, they might buy robots to do your job, but they're not going to invest in more people. I'm telling you, 99% of companies, and they're already saying it. Wells Fargo I seen a statement from them today. They're going to give that money back to the stock owners. That's what they're going to do.
So if you don't hold no stock, you ain't getting a benefit out of that.
It's not going to happen.
And the thing is, what really ticks me off is they act like they've never seen this before. You've seen this before. You saw
done it before,
Ronald
and that's what
Reagan
happened.
do it.
Yeah.
It's called trickle-down economics, and it doesn't work. You give the rich a big break, and they are supposed to trickle it down to the poor people. When the richest people roll past the homeless veteran every day, they're not giving up nothing they don't have to give up.
They're already sitting on money.
There's
Companies are sitting on trillions of dollars now. Hell, they're not even paying the tax rate that they say that they're giving them a break from. They're already not paying that tax rate because of all
the
of the loopholes that they've got, none of which were eliminated.
But they eliminated all of our loopholes, all of our, like, now it's all inclusive with your local and state taxes, and your mortgage interest is all inclusive. Like, you can have up to 10,000 of all of them. And in Kentucky, that might not mean a lot. But in states like New York, in the New England states and California states that have high state tax rates, that is going to kill those middle income families. It really is, and they don't care. They do not care. And it's like Paul Ryan has been dreaming since he was 5 years old to stop welfare and to stop poor people from getting benefits. And he's always felt like it was a disgrace to be a country that would take from the rich and give to the poor. And God forbid how the rich got as rich as they are. Nobody as rich as they are didn't get rich off the backs of somebody for slave wages, period. That just didn't happen. Somebody was underneath them that got treated really bad for them to get that rich. And that's the interest that they're protecting. And it's what's so sad is that you go into Trump country and you talk to some of these people and they swear that Trump is for them, but every move he's making is against them. This tax bill is going to spark cuts in Medicaid, Medicare, and veterans benefits. It's going to spark all types, and I'm just waiting to see. I really
they've already admitted it. I mean, Paul Ryan's already come out. You can look way back in his career. For many, many years, all he's talked about is getting rid of Social Security, getting rid of Medicare, getting rid of Medicaid. He does not believe any of those things should exist. The administration is put in charge of things, people that absolutely are opposed to what that agency is supposed to do. You put Ben Carson in charge of HUD.
Right.
And Ben Carson is absolutely fundamentally opposed to everything that HUD is about.
Yep.
He put a guy in charge of OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration. That's an industry guy that thinks, hey, if you fall into a shredder at your job, so sad. We shouldn't make a company pay for railings to keep you from falling in. You ought to be smart enough not to fall in already. If you break your leg, oh well.
That's your risk
Too bad.
To work at that company.
He puts a guy in charge of the EPA that used to work for an oil company. It's all about, doesn't even care about the environment, doesn't care about climate change. All they care about is they don't want to spend the money not to pollute. Mm-hmm. Folks that lived in West Virginia just last year. One of the things EPA does, I used to work for a company that shipped oil and chemicals all up and down the rivers. One of the things EPA does is make sure the companies don't dump that stuff in the river.
Right.
And a company, they already had undercut their inspections, and their oil tank full of some kind of chemical sitting on the banks of the Ohio River, dumped that whole thing right into the Ohio River. Huntington, West Virginia, they couldn't even run their water for weeks because it was full of,
gunk.
Yeah, antifreeze or something like that. Those are the guys he's putting in charge. So, wait for the next act, because the first act was to blow up the deficit, and then the second act is to say, oh, the deficit's too bad. We can't afford Medicare. We can't afford Social Security. We can't afford Medicaid. We're going to have to cut veterans benefits. We're going to have to cut food stamps. We're going to have to cut Section 8. We're going to have to cut investment in education for sure. If you go to a public school, they don't care about public schools. They care about private schools.
Tell them who they put in charge of education.
Yeah, DeVos. And she has for years been advocating for getting rid of public schools, essentially defunding public schools. They don't want your kids to be educated. They don't want them to be educated. I'm telling you right now, they want them to be stupid. The stupider they are, the happier they are.
And the less
they pay attention to what's going on, the happier they are.
To try to make things right. Yep. They want a stupid, dumb society.
But the kids right now, first of all, one way we can fix it is we can pay attention ourselves. Mm-hmm. We can do to Trump what we let them do to Obama, which is vote next November.
Yes.
We have to.
We have to.
All it takes is flipping the Senate or the House.
Either one.
And pretty much all the executive order damage is pretty much done, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's not a whole lot more things he can do by executive order. He needs both houses.
Yep.
and it's not going to be that hard to do. It is razor
Right
thin in
now,
the Senate and pretty close in the House, and
it's
it can be done.
51-49 right now in the
Yep.
Senate. So we literally need to gain 2 seats in the Senate. 2 seats. Now, the fortunate thing for us in Kentucky is that there is a national campaign to get rid of Mitch McConnell. So
Is he running this year?
I think his campaign, I think he's got 3 more years.
Okay, so it wouldn't be 18. It
It wouldn't
be
be
20.
18, it'd be 20 for him.
Yeah.
So I think he's up for re-election in 2020. So
And Rand Paul would be the one after that, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, because he just got in a few. And yes, so but there's a nationwide campaign. So I'm pretty sure the Democratic Party is going to dump a lot of money in Kentucky to get rid of Mitch McConnell. But I need everybody. I mean, we got some time, so hopefully this platform will be blown all the way up and hopefully nationwide by then. But we've got some time, and I'm going to keep on it because, hey, we got to change who's in Congress if we really want to stop the stuff that Trump is doing, because he's really trying to take us back to the 1800s, to 1700s, and we can't allow that to happen. If we don't want that, we can't allow that, and the only way to stop it is to get out there and vote. We have to vote.
And they'll try to take your vote away from you, so you got to pay attention because they got a lot of little rules that'll keep you from voting. They tried to do it in Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot of people that showed up to vote and couldn't vote. So it's just something that, and if you're fortunate enough to have the resources to make sure you're straight, take some of those resources and make sure somebody else in your family is straight.
Yes.
Make sure your kids are straight if they're old enough to vote. It's just hugely important, hugely important.
Yes.
I'm not saying the Democrats do everything right.
No.
Not at all. But I think we've come to a point where people are starting to pay a little bit of attention. They certainly know what the Republicans have planned for them, and if they don't know now, I would say by the election, you're going to have a real good idea.
Do you know what they said on CNN? They asked one of the correspondents what he thought everything meant for next year, and he said, "Well, it's really up to the black vote."
Yeah.
He said it's really up. He said it depends on how black people feel about this tax bill. Do y'all hear me?
That's what happened in Alabama. The black vote got a Democrat elected in Alabama.
Let's go ahead and check that off the list because that's on the list too.
A black vote elected a Democrat in Alabama.
In Alabama, 98% of black women voted for
a state that went like 70-some% for Trump versus Clinton.
Yes, but 70% for Trump, but actually elected a Democrat. Now we will say,
Roy Moore was.
I mean, you can't get a worser.
Yeah.
You can't get a worser candidate. Yeah. But even with the people that did write-in candidates, even with those, if he had gotten the write-ins, he would have won. But even to say Doug being that close, and there was a lot of people that stayed at home. And I'm gonna read your comment here in a short. Miss Marshall, I thank you for participating. I need this participation. I do appreciate it. And do keep in mind that we are giving away a gift card today. If you call in 502-384-6483, it is yours. Yours. And if you don't live locally, I will mail it tomorrow. That's all I can do is mail it to you. But so Alabama elected a Democrat into the Senate, and that's what put us at 51-49. So we've got 49 Democratic or independent leaning left senators and 51 Republicans. So there's only 2 that we need to take down. I think it's like 30. Isn't it like, it's either like 30 we need or 15 we need to even the stakes?
I think maybe 15 to 20 flipping would get us the House as well.
Yeah, and I just want y'all to just get in the habit of getting out and voting. Anytime you hear about an election, never discount that. Figure out with your work schedule how you're going to be able to vote. But I don't ever want you guys to ever think that you don't have to vote again. I'm forgiving you for all the times that you didn't vote. I forgive you. It's over.
It can be tiring, can't it? Because, we're both political junkies. And,
we are.
We totally understand. Most people do not have CNN on literally in our house 12 to 14 hours a day.
My friend called me from Kansas, and I had to cuss her out, Miss J. She's a committee. Miss J, if you watching, yes, I'm talking about you. Miss Janice, she going to call me. She said, girl, what you doing watching the news?
And that's what we're doing.
That's exactly
and
what
if I'm not watching that, I'm reading a political book or a political philosophy book or a history book. certainly everybody's not going to do that.
But just know that
but honestly, you probably can watch CNN for an hour a day and still get the gist.
And get the gist, yeah. But you miss a lot of good exchanges. As y'all can see, sometimes I'm just sitting there watching and I see a good exchange and I'll rewind it with my DVR and I'll go live on Facebook so that y'all can catch it. Because I know y'all ain't sitting up watching it for the juicy stuff when it goes down, but it really does go down on CNN. I get good entertainment out of it, being the political junkie that I am. So that's the tax bill.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to say, this is what I want. Maybe there'll be somebody in the Democratic Party will listen to this. This is what I want the Democrats to do. I want the Democrats to live up to their name. Yeah. That's what I want to do. Sometimes you'll hear anybody that's political will hear Republicans say, we're not a democracy, we're a republic. What that means is they don't think that poor people should be able to vote. They don't want the mob to vote. They basically think that government should be run by people that have money. They honestly do.
Yep.
But the Democratic Party should start being more democratic and start thinking about all of us. Everybody having a vote, everybody being able to vote, everybody being informed enough to exercise their vote, and the things that they do are for everybody, not just for that few. The Democratic Party has not always done that, but it's time for them to start being democratic and start thinking about, okay, what does democracy mean? And start thinking about, okay, what can we do to help everybody in this country live up to their potential?
Right.
I'll tell you, I've said this many times, and I'm going to let it go. You walk through the West End, and I'll tell you, any Republican that drives through the West End, they're going to drive very fast, and they are not going to see what I see when I drive through the West End. When I drive through the West End, I see potential. There are so many people in the West End of Louisville and segregated communities throughout America that have the potential to be lawyers and doctors and poets and engineers and artists and anything you can name. That potential is all there in the poor communities of America. The same potential, the same human potential is there in all those people as there is in the East End of Louisville. All of that is there, and we're wasting it. We're throwing it away, and we're ignoring it. So what we need is a party that's going to pay attention to how do we realize its potential. Starts obviously with education. You know, sometimes it starts with feeding people. Sometimes it starts with housing people. But definitely educating people, and that's what I'm looking for. And that's not what you're getting right now. So get out there in November and throw these idiots out and get somebody in there that hasn't been fed with a silver spoon their whole life. Off my soapbox.
My baby. Yeah, y'all see I love him so much. But yes, it's true. It's like, and a lot of these people that he sees have never even been told what their potential is. So we, as mere mortals, we all have to do our part in enlightening people and in inspiring people, uplifting people. So, yes, we definitely need a political party that can bring in the funds to make it happen. Yeah, it's nice to have a running track in the West End, but how about doing a science center in the West End? Mm-hmm. How about giving the kids something educational that they can go and visit? That would be nice. Instead of, expanding Waterfront Park down to 13th Street, maybe you can build some type of small science lab in the hood, so the kids can get something different. I don't know. It's just an idea, just a thought. If you guys want to run that by Mayor Fisher, because everything they just want us to just go with sports and go with athletics, and that's not all we are. That it really isn't. A lot of these inventions we use today, we had a part of. We just don't get the credit for it. So if we were inventing stuff back when they were inventing stuff, then we could still be inventing stuff. It was a black lady that invented LASIK. You ever had LASIK done? A black woman developed that program, the laser eye surgery. Lasers, baby. She figured it out, a black woman. So, yes, and we have to know that our potential is as great as it is in order for us to reach for it. Because if you don't know that you can get it, then why would you ever reach up there? Like, I know not to reach for the light because it's hot. I found out the hard way. You don't touch the light because it's going to burn your little finger. I had to learn that. So make sure that the people around you know that their potential is great, especially if they ain't living to their potential. Because I've got friends that I've had my whole life that that actually tried to call me out like I was being bougie or something. I'm not being bougie, but I'm gonna tell you when you're not living up to your potential. Just like I would expect for you to do me the same way. We've got a caller, guys. Speak your mind.
Can we call in yet?
Yes, you could call in, Miss Tiandra. Hi, pretty. We've got a winner on the gift card giveaway. Yes, you won.
No, but I do want to tell you, your husband needs to run for office. Sometime, like whether it's local or whatever.
Hello, Tiandra. Can you say that one more time because he can hear you?
Dave. You need to run for office.
I hear you.
He's got 22 years military.
That's one vote. Well,
that's 4 votes because you know everybody growing in might have 5 votes because you're gonna vote for yourself too. We got 5 votes for David right now. But seriously, I mean he's got such a good grasp on the system and how twisted and how nasty it's been turned against people of color. And when you've got a person that realizes the system is set against the demographic and is willing to call those out that can control and change it, that's exactly what we need. That's exactly what we need.
So all it takes is him to run a good campaign.
And we would have you as a PR person to make sure that people know that he's around. So yes, thank you for volunteering your services, and you would definitely be paid. We just got to get the Democratic Party to give us money so that we can do this thing.
Right.
But yeah, so I definitely appreciate the call, and definitely hit my inbox, boo, so I can get you that card tomorrow.
All right, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.
Well, McConnell's running what we say 3 years. So.
He's running in 3 years, so maybe if he don't go maybe you take the mayor's position, and then from there you catapult yourself to the Senate after you've done such a beautiful job in Louisville. Like seriously, baby. I mean, we have these talks at home, and it makes me feel good that Tiandra called in and said that as a college graduate herself. Speak your mind.
Hello.
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm doing great. Tyler?
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say that I have a couple of things on my mind about this whole situation. When you talk about education, it's deeper than just say, let's improve education. The way everything's set up, our kids don't even know our history in order to be able to recognize what has already happened, in order to be able to establish a future for themselves. We still getting that Christopher Columbus discovered America.
Yeah.
We're still getting watered down education that they give us, just a little sprinkle of what, and then they only want to celebrate Black History Month in the month of February. Black History Month is all year around. Everywhere
you don't even want to get me started on Black History Month
all over the world, but they only want to give us 1 month to recognize Black greatness. And I'm not saying the white people haven't done things that are great, but we have done a lot of things off the back of Black America that don't get recognized for. But you can best believe Channel 32 is going to talk about all the murders. They're going to talk about all the negative stuff that people do. Mm-hmm. But we have some Black diamonds running all around the West End that don't even know that they diamonds and that they can shine.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, so for me, I just wish that we could get to the point where we will get more proactive in our kids' education. Instead of worrying about them wearing Jordans to school, worry about what your kids is learning when they get there. And be involved in their homework more than what the teachers tell you that you need to do.
And you got to reinforce. You got to go behind and see what they taught them, because you know it's some crazy stuff being written in these old history books. But you absolutely hit it on the head. We've got to first, if they ever want to end racism, they first have to go back and stop telling the lies. They have to be honest and rewrite these history books, and we need to face and deal with it and move on. But as long as you try to sweep it under the rug and act like it didn't happen or sugarcoat it, it's like if you slap me in my face and everybody else says, well, she didn't hit you that hard, but my face is still stinging. I'm not gonna reconcile that too well. I need everybody to understand that my face is still stinging. We can move on, but I need y'all to not say that it wasn't that hard when my face is still stinging. You know, so a lot of things have to happen, especially with education. But you said
and
you
it's
had
not just for the black kids, it's for the white kids too.
yes.
Because you
Oh
got
yeah.
white teachers running around with superiority complexes that think that black kids are not as capable as white kids and that they need to give them breaks and we need to curb the test, so the black kids can make it. No, our kids are just as smart as anyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
If you can sit and watch your kid play Call of Duty, NBA, you can watch them play live on the NFL, Xbox, and all this stuff, then you got to realize that their child does have learning potential.
Yes.
And it's more than just what's going on with these video games, and it's more than that. And these white kids need to know what black people have contributed because they got superiority complexes that they're somehow better than us from grade 0 on up because the history books don't reflect anything that's great about being black other than, like I said, Black History Month.
Yeah.
So it's not just for the benefit of our kids; it's for the benefit of all kids to recognize that all kids and all of society has contributed to this.
Yes.
One of the things I
Even
think
the Mexicans that are working on top of your roof, that are picking vegetables out in California, have contributed to what's going on and what continues to go on in America right now. And I'm going to leave you alone, and I'm going to get off my soapbox, but I just want the next parents to go to, get that ticket to get their kids next Jordans to be excited like that when their kids' report cards come out. And that's all I have to say about that.
Snap, snap, 2 snaps and a twist, and give me a kiss. Thank you, boo. And make sure you call in again next week. Thank you for your call, sweetheart.
All right, sweetheart.
So
Dump Trump.
Dump him.
So she hit on a couple of points that, and I know you've heard me say it. Number one, Black history. We need to start teaching American history.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to understand you cannot separate, quote unquote, Black history from American history.
Nope.
You can't. They try to do it. And you're right. They try to segregate it into February. And in February, we can learn about Frederick Douglass and we can learn about peanut butter. And we can learn about Muhammad Ali. And, oh, look, shortest month. Sorry, it's over. Now we're going back to our regularly scheduled program. You can't do that. There is not one single thing in American history that you can talk about and you can adequately explain.
In its entirety.
Without bringing, honestly, without explaining how racism affected it.
Yep. This is true.
And another point you made at the end, which, I want to, kind of hit on as well. What's education about? It's, you're trying to teach children how to interpret the world around them, among other things, right? You can't tell me there's let's say, 10th grader. You can't tell me there's a 10th grader in Louisville, East End or West End, that doesn't know where the black part of town is.
Right.
You damn sure there ain't no adult in Louisville that doesn't know where the black. Yeah, they know that. Everybody knows it, but how did it get that way? Why is there a black part of town? Because honestly, it doesn't make a whole lot of damn sense, does it?
No.
We don't segregate people by hair color, eye color, short people on this end of town, tall people on that end of town. We don't do any of that stuff. Why is there a West End of Louisville? And when I say West End, a vision pops in your head of who lives in the West End, and it's the same vision for me as it is for you. Everybody knows who lives in the West End. Why is that? And we're not teaching kids about redlining.
Right.
We're not teaching kids about, how the government, one of my very favorite writers in the world, Ta-Nehisi Coates, writes for The Atlantic, and something that stuck with me that I read in an article of his many years ago. He said, the ghetto is public policy. The ghetto is public policy. It didn't just happen. It was created. All the wealth in the East End didn't just happen. It was created. All the loss of wealth in the West End didn't just happen. It was created. Social Security, when they wrote Social Security, in order to get it through, they had to have Southern Democratic senators had to vote for Social Security. They refused to vote for it unless it excluded agricultural workers and domestic workers.
Which was all your
field hands and maids and butlers and basically all the black folks in the South. They would not vote for it unless it specifically excluded it. The GI Bill. Many American families built their wealth on the GI Bill, bought their houses with the GI Bill, went to college with the GI Bill after World War II. The Southern senators wouldn't vote for it unless it was administered at the local level. Why does that matter to them? They didn't want federal government employees coming into Meridian, Mississippi and handing out federal dollars to black veterans for houses, for education. They wanted a dude that grew up in Meridian, Mississippi, in charge of who was going to get that money and who wasn't. Mm-hmm. This is American history. I feel like our biggest problems today is because after the Civil War, we didn't face up to it. Nope. We just didn't face up to it. Basically, white people in the North and white people in the South shook hands and said, we are going to put this behind us. We're going to reconcile. The North said, we're going to let you go back to the way you want to do things in the South in the interest of money and reconciliation and politics. And that's why, and we never, ever, we tried to start, but we never got there, and things never changed. And that's why that's why every political argument to this day has a racial component to it.
Yep.
Every single one. We never, ever, ever fixed it. If we don't face up to it, and education's part of it, and you're right, because I have good friends of mine that I feel are intelligent friends who I feel like have a little bit of a sense that voted for Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And I've literally spent hours in a car with one of these guys trying to figure out how the hell were you going to vote for Donald Trump? And honestly, most of the things that I know, he doesn't know, because he doesn't know what redlining is either. He's never heard of it. Never heard of it.
Grown man.
Doesn't know anything about it. Doesn't know anything about the history of Social Security, the history of the GI Bill. Doesn't know where white wealth in this country came from. Doesn't know how to this day car companies are charging black families more for their loans just because they're black and getting sued by the federal government. Thank God that Obama got that done, because you know for a fact that ain't going to happen now.
No. They've actually tried to make it easier for banks to rip off poor people. They've taken away all the regulations that Obama laid down to stop it from happening. They've been undone so that it can happen again. So
and
we can have another housing
even
crash.
School boards are political. You got to pay attention to the school board. In this city, we had one of the best desegregation programs in the nation, held up nationwide as an example of what a city can do to desegregate the school system. And there are plenty of people in this city that have been trying to overturn that for years. And it's a two-phase process, because remember, it's not just where the kids go to school. Yeah. It's the money in the schools. Yeah. Right now, it goes everywhere. So the schools in the West End, in many cases, may not be as nice as the ones in the East End, but it's not nearly as bad as it is everywhere else. As soon as they get neighborhood schools through, and they don't have to worry about their kids being bused to the West End, then they're going to go after the funding, and they're going to make it so that their East End funding stays in the East End and West End funding stays in the West End. That's phase two. They'll never say it, but I'm telling you, that's where it's going. As soon as they don't have to worry about their kids being sent to them schools, they're going to pull the money out. And then you're going to see Louisville schools being just like New York schools, Chicago schools. That's what they want. You got to pay attention. Got to pay attention, because, man, I'm telling you, they got a long-range plan, and they are executing it. And most of us don't have the time, the energy, or the interest to pay attention to all these little things, but that's when they get you.
Yep, when you ain't looking, and that's what we're here for.
So she stepped off the soapbox, and I jumped right up on it.
He jumped right back up on it. I'm telling y'all, this man got a lot. Hey, I said, I'm a treat them. If they going to watch, they going to get a treat tonight. So we want to touch on net neutrality. It's kind of old news, kind of dying out, but we definitely want to give our spin on it. I gave a quick spin the day that it passed, but net neutrality is basically where Obama had said that all the internet service providers needed to treat all websites the same as far as pushing their data to users. With net neutrality, what they're doing is basically overturning that and saying, no, ISPs can do what they want to do, and eventually they can. What we see happening is eventually you might go with AT&T internet, and just like your AT&T TV package comes with different levels and tiers, we see tiered internet coming, where the top tier you can get any website in the world. The second tier, you might not be able to get Google, you might not be able to get Facebook, but you get a super fast speed to Twitter. You get a super fast speed to, Mozilla, or whatever the case might be. So net neutrality is basically, I hope it doesn't come to this, but it's not good for the consumers. It's only good for internet service providers. to be able to charge us more.
And we've been talking about like a cable, but I actually thought about it on the way over here. It's almost like you could actually look at it simpler. It's kind of like the water company, right?
Yeah.
To the water company, water's water. Hot water coming out of your faucet is water. Cold water coming out of your faucet is water. You pay the same for hot water as you do for cold water. You got to pay to heat it, but you understand where I'm coming from. That's the way the internet is now. Data is data is data. Doesn't matter what website you're on, you're going to pay the same for your internet every month. Doesn't matter how much you use it. Doesn't matter what websites you're going to, whether they're approved or not, whether or not they've paid for, it to come out quicker or not. They want to be able to charge you more for hot water than you do for cold water. That's what they want to be able to do. And they say, oh, we're never going to do that. But make sure you change the rules so we can do that.
Right.
We're never going to do it.
Well, is the rule
but
there?
Make sure we can.
Right. If in case we want to. Yeah, right. I don't trust them. Anything they do, I'm like, What you do that for? What you do that for? So nothing has happened yet, of course. And just kind of watch your bills is all I'm going to say. If you got an ISP or internet service provider, make sure you're watching your bills, because I used to work for one, and anytime they going to charge you extra, they put it in real tiny print on like the third to the last page of your bill. So make sure you look at your bills all up and through for any fine print that may be foreign to you, and read it so that if they do start overcharging you, you can actually stop them. And I'm actually about ready to sue my ISP. We're going to sue them, baby, because we done got this. No, seriously. And I'm going to tell you who it is, AT&T. Now, we done got this service and thought we was doing something, too, because they got fiber optics, right? And so we got, like, the best package because we've got a lot of children and we've got a lot of items that we connect to the internet. And we supposed to have 1,000 megabytes of internet speed.
We got 1,000 kilobytes in
that stuff, man. I be sitting there like, why am I still clocking? Why is my screen buffering? I'm just trying to go to Facebook. Like, seriously. Like, I think I'm going to sue him because the technician comes out and he tells me out of his mouth to my face, they can't never get you 1,000 megabytes. Well, then they shouldn't be advertising 1,000 megabytes. Don't they know that's against FCC policies? Anybody got AT&T want to sue him with me? Because when I did my speed test, I was only pulling 40 megabytes. And it was only like what the TV was on. The kids wasn't even home. So there was no reason for me to just be pulling 40 out of 1,000. It's against the law.
We're going to go home and the cable's cut off.
Exactly. AT&T is going to be like, you thought you didn't like that speed. Wait till you don't like no TV. We got plenty. We got Fire Stick, though, to get us by. I just thought I'd get on my little soapbox real quick because I don't like not getting my speed. I think I was better off with Spectrum, and the commercials was better. I miss my Spectrum commercials. All them little monsters, yeah. I miss them, man. It's what I do. Okay, so I do want to remind you guys about the Christmas challenge again. It's probably too late for this year, and that's fine, but I do want to mention it. The Christmas challenge was 3 gifts per child. And if you have excess money, you give to another family or children in another family that may be struggling. And I thought, since I was going to remind you guys about the Christmas challenge, because, again, Jesus Christ only got 3 gifts, so why your kids deserve 30? Ask yourself that question. Is your child better than Jesus Christ? I don't think so. Okay. So that's why I say 3 gifts, and that's what we've been doing in my family for over 10 years, and it works like a charm. It actually worked beautifully this year because we ain't got it to do no more than 3 gifts. So they better be happy that they wasn't looking for anything more because it just wasn't going to happen. But it's good that I had that system going already, because if they was used to having presents all the way up to the top of the Christmas tree, they was going to be some sad little children this Christmas because it cannot happen. So I'm just saying, relieve yourself of the stress of Christmas, especially if you do for your kids throughout the year. There's no reason to overdo it for Christmas. But I also wanted to kind of touch on Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is the African American celebration that they created in response to Christmas and the commercialization of Christmas. I almost chewed that up too. But Kwanzaa, I remember my uncle was Pan-African, and so he wasn't Christian at all, and he used to get on the family all the time about being Christians and all of this, and I was too young to understand any of that or whatever, but he was really, really big on Kwanzaa. So I said, well, I'm going to do a little research because I watched a Mackie Merry Christmas last night with Remy and Papoose. Did y'all catch that? Oh my God, they gave me life. It was awesome. But watching that show, they did a little, Papoose had planned a Kwanzaa celebration as a surprise to Remy. And I thought it was pretty cool. And I said, well, I might need to do my little research. So I thought I would go over the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. For those that don't know, and Kwanzaa is not linked to any type of religion. Kwanzaa is just a celebration of Black people really giving us a time to really celebrate and appreciate each other and really come together. That's what Kwanzaa is about. So you can be a Christian and still celebrate Kwanzaa. In fact, if you're one of those Christians that bought your kids 30 gifts, why don't you pull 7 of them out and actually celebrate Kwanzaa this year? They won't miss them, I promise. They'll be so happy that they've got Christmas gifts, and I'm going to tell you how it goes. Kwanzaa runs from December the 26th through January the 1st. And so on each day of Kwanzaa, you exchange a gift. Now, I spoke with my mom today, and so I'm going to reach out to my other family members to see who wants to do a Kwanzaa gift exchange next year. And it'd be 7 gifts. You get 7 gifts ranging from $10 to $20, and we all get in a circle. It could be 2 people. It could be 19 people, but you just exchange gifts within that circle each day. And we will probably have the event at somebody else's house each of the days. And it's just a gift exchange, so you might get little hors d'oeuvres together or whatever. And y'all can do this in your own circles, start a Kwanzaa gift exchange. I think it's a beautiful thing to do, and this is why. The first principle of Kwanzaa that you will be celebrating is unity. To strive for and maintain unity in the family, nation, and race. So that's basically one man, just one purpose. Everybody is one, not separated by anything else. Everybody just loving, just a human race. That's the only race. And just getting that unity redefined. You might have issues in your family that need to be ironed out. That would be the time to do it. Because at the end of the day, nobody is promised tomorrow. We've got a lot of people mourning in this city. Nobody's promised tomorrow. So we definitely need to not take each other for granted. And if you got somebody in your family that you're beefing with, figure out a way to end that. Even if it's not for you all to move forward in life together, if it's just to iron it out so that you're not carrying that baggage and that anger with you. You might not be able to deal with that cousin again, but at least y'all ain't at each other's throats and you can be cordial around one another. It's just a lot better for your soul. The second principle of Kwanzaa is self-determination. To define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. I got that down pat. I definitely speak for myself. But
yeah.
What you trying to say, Daddy?
Hey, I didn't say nothing.
He said, I just said you ain't quiet. So yes, I love that self-determination. The third principle of Kwanzaa is collective work and responsibility. To build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. In the community, making like you see somebody with an issue, somebody with an issue, make that issue your issue and work with that person to solve it. Maybe your homegirl's child is out of whack. And you might say, you know what? Let me help you with that situation. I can't really fix him, but I can give you a break, on Wednesdays, and I can come and pick him up for a few hours. And he'll start to look forward to that friend coming to pick him up for a few hours. And you never know what that might, anything that you can do to help somebody else, definitely do that to make the community better. And the fourth principle is cooperative economics. To build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. So maybe you don't have enough to start a business, and maybe your homeboy got the money to start a business, and you got the idea, and y'all come together and y'all break bread together. Don't be afraid to patronize another Black-owned business or another small business, not necessarily Black-owned, but a small business in general, because really that's going to be the key to us making it out of whatever them other people are doing is entrepreneurship and really supporting one another and not being afraid for somebody else to make it off of your dollar. If you need their service and they're providing a service to you, don't worry about where the money's going. Patronize that person, especially if they're a person of color, because we just don't get enough opportunities to patronize Black-owned businesses. And when we do, we don't do it. So we have to stop. And the fifth principle of Kwanzaa is purpose. to make a collective vocation no, to make our collective vocation the building and development of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. What's your purpose? What's your purpose, boo?
You.
I love that answer. Say it again. Y'all see, I'm his purpose. Better get you one. Number 6 is creativity. To do always as much as we can and the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than in which we inherited it. That's beautiful. You see something on the ground, pick it up, throw it away. It's okay. Beautify. That might be your way of beautifying. You might pick up cigarette butts while you're sitting on the bus stop because they don't need to be on the ground. Whatever you can do to beautify your area and your community, please do that. And number 7 is faith. And it says to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. You mean to tell me faith ain't had nothing to do with God? That was deep. I like that one though. So if you didn't know what Kwanzaa was about, that's it in a gist. I'm sure it's a lot deeper than what I just went over, but that was just the 7 principles I wanted to go over. And you do a gift exchange for each one of those. So I guess if your unity, my unity gifts will be different than my self-determination gifts. So it might be a book that I do for the self-determination, collective works and responsibility. I might get you a planner. Who knows? So you just think of different things I would suggest if you're going to do a Kwanzaa gift exchange, you would definitely think of different things to go along with each of the titles so that you can really celebrate those things. And I think if we get a lot of those circles going, there's going to be a lot of loving in the community of people that you wouldn't normally be loving on during this time. And trust me, the end of the year, everybody needs a little extra love. It's the highest times for suicide rates. I actually lost my uncle around this time, a little bit over 10 years ago, to suicide. So it definitely is that time of year. So whatever you can do to uplift someone else or to inspire someone else to keep pushing, do that. Do that. So that was that. And now I want to kind of get into this hip hop discussion before we get into the relationship discussion, because I do want to open up for questions. If you have any questions for this here married couple, we will be more than happy to answer those. But I want to talk about hip hop. First, we need to address first we're going to address Biggie and Pac. Now, baby.
Yes, baby.
Biggie or Pac?
Biggie.
You choose Biggie?
I do.
That's a shock.
Why?
Biggie was more about partying. Pac was so deep.
No, you know what though? But if I had a choice to really, honestly, to listen to one or the other, there's something about Biggie's flow, his voice, his style that I just like to listen to. I'm not saying that, I ain't going to take anything away from either of them, obviously.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
It's just, I don't know. There's just something about him I just enjoy listening to.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to say, give me all the chicken heads from Pasadena to Medina. Let Big get in between you. Yeah, I'm a Biggie fan, too. I definitely have to side with Biggie on that debate. But I just want people to know that we don't have to come to blows, because I'm gonna tell you, these rap arguments, they get so deep sometimes. I was in one the other day that made me actually put this as my topic, because the question was about, the statement was that that Jay-Z really ripped Eminem on Renegade. And basically was like not up for debate. Like, what are you talking about? That didn't happen. Like, rewind. Like, everyone knows M won that battle. But I learned some things on that post. I learned that it wasn't even supposed to be Jay-Z on the record. It was supposed to be Royce the 5'9", and I guess he ripped the track so bad that Eminem was like, nah, I can't have him on here. Let me get somebody I can whoop. So he went and got Jay-Z. And Jay-Z's flow is one that Eminem can definitely chew up any day of the week that he wants to because of the way Eminem flows. He will always be Jay-Z, if you ask me. But I'm a bigger Jay-Z fan. But just being real, Eminem, ain't too many people, because I like long words. I like big words when they're used properly in sentences, especially if you're flowing. And I can go back, and sometimes you might spit a word that I don't know, and then I got to go look it up, and then I got to go apply it to the other words that you have put around it. Oh, my goodness, he is a genius. So Eminem makes me think on a certain level, so I definitely give him his props, and he definitely beat Jay-Z, but it just goes to show how much people, they hate Jay-Z, but they really hate Eminem. Baby, they hate Eminem.
Yeah, I know. I wonder why that is.
Because him white. They hate Eminem because him white. And they scared that he coming to take something. But Eminem's in his own lane. Like,
yeah. And in the industry, they really don't. I mean, they really don't. You know, he gets a lot of respect from people in the industry. They know what kind of skills he got.
Well,
so that's cool. I mean, you got to listen to him. And if you don't listen to him because he's white, that's cool too.
Well, it's some mainstream people that don't like Eminem, but it's mainly the fans that don't like him because usually it's some, unsuccessful rappers. They never have anything nice to say about Eminem. Especially the black ones, because they feel like, why are you up there when I'm, and I'm not saying unsuccessful as in untalented. I'm just saying unsuccessful. Your shit just didn't pop, so, but you're going to hate on everybody else who has pop. So,
I mean, whether you like him or not, you can never say Eminem is derivative of anything. I mean, he definitely has influences, but you can't say he's trying to be anybody that he's not.
No.
So.
And even with this new music, it's so different. It really is. His new album is so different sounding. Yeah. And it's going to take me a minute to actually, and I'm not going to discount it because it's Eminem, and you don't just discount Eminem. Like, it's just like Beyonce, every time she come out with an album, everybody's like, oh my God, it's horrible. Within a week, it's number one. You might not have liked it on the first listen, but you're going to like it. So I'm going to give him another listen before I really, really say how I feel. But I just really feel like he's just doing his own thing in his own lane. He doesn't want to be mocked. He doesn't want to be accused of mocking. Mm-hmm. And you really can't come behind Eminem and do what Eminem did, period. And I just feel like people, like, they got mad at him for speaking up, against Donald Trump. But I feel like, what do y'all expect? It's going to really take white people to end racism. Donald Trump don't care about no black boy rapping about him. He don't. But when Eminem does it, it's like, well, he's blonde hair and blue eyed. What's going on here?
It's the only rap artist that Trump probably ever heard of.
Exactly. Well,
so
like, seriously. And, so for him coming, I just feel like people need to loosen up, like, really loosen up. Like, you don't have to call somebody crap because they made it and you didn't. If the world has made him diamond, your opinion doesn't matter. Like, he's a diamond selling artist. Doesn't matter what you think. I'm just saying that you're wasting energy being a hater. Like, nothing's going to come shining down on you with you hating. It could be a producer listening and I'll read and see that you just, he's a hater. He's bitter. He might be talented, but ain't nobody got time for that. So I say that to say, same thing with Jay-Z. Y'all hate Jay-Z. Why? I mean, to me, because what they said on that post, they said Jay-Z got all his songs from Biggie. How, Sway? Jay-Z got like 13 studio albums. He's got like a whole lot of albums. Biggie had 2. Biggie only had 2 albums. How did Jay-Z get all his songs from Biggie? And then the dude tried to be right, babe. He gonna say, well, Diddy sold him all his songs. I said, now why would Diddy do that in the prime of Bad Boy when he could have just given the songs to one of his artists and got all the money behind it? Like, it don't make sense. Like, stop lying on that man. Now, Jay-Z has definitely taken Biggie lines. What they mean to say is that Jay-Z has a lot of songs that have Biggie lines in it. And what makes you mad is the fact that Jay-Z does all this biting and nobody notices that he bit. It's like, you're like, but hey, he's not the first one to say that, but he said it so smooth, you know. So I think that's what the real hate comes from, him being able to take this line, that line, make this song go platinum. Y'all just being y'all, and then he's a millionaire. He's a billionaire. He's past a millionaire. He's a billionaire, and that just like makes y'all even more angry. And it's not like he's a billionaire and he's hoarding all the money. The man donates to Black Lives Matter. He's built water wells in Africa to help villages have clean drinking water. Him and his wife do that. I mean, he does so much philanthropy work with black people. He's doing documentaries right now highlighting police brutality against black folks that he would never freaking feel. He don't have to do that. He don't have to do. He did one on Khalif Browder, and now he's doing one on Trayvon Martin. He does not have to do that, but y'all just hate that man. Why? He don't have to do. He don't have to do nothing. He can sit up in his house, one of his houses, with Beyonce.
Yeah. He ain't worried about you.
With Beyonce. Beyonce is his wife. He don't care about your opinion. He could make an album today and it sell 2 records and he ain't gonna miss a beat. He's not gonna care. It was what he wanted to say on his record, whether you bought it or not. So I say all that to say, people like the artists that make them feel good. Nothing that you say is going to tell somebody else who to like or who's better. It's all about who makes you feel good. I love me some Pac. I absolutely, but Biggie made me feel better. I loved me some Pac when he came out, my ambitions as a writer, all of that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I love it when you call me Big Papa is what had me jumping in the club. So that's what I relate. When I go back to my 90s, I'm thinking about all the Biggie songs and all the Biggie features. So stop trying to make people feel the way you feel and stop lying and stuff. Y'all try to say Diddy sold all the Biggie songs. Stop it. He wouldn't do that. He's not a dummy. He's almost a billionaire himself. And he ain't got rid of no Biggie catalog and it got that much money. It just ain't happened. So that was my Biggie discussion. I wanted to get hip hop. And y'all ain't. Oh, y'all do have stuff to say. Oh, my goodness. I missed all these comments. I'm so sorry. My thing got stuck. So if y'all been saying stuff, he did the master plan and he did that in the Ville. See, y'all been saying stuff. I suck. My thing was stuck, and I'm like, why y'all ain't said nothing? It's been a long time, and y'all been saying stuff, and I didn't mean to ignore y'all. I'm going to come back and answer all of y'all once the broadcast is over with. But I do want to get into the fun stuff. I won't get into the fun stuff, y'all. Let's get into the relationship stuff. Now, Dave is not real big on relationship stuff, but he's going to help me where he can, and I can see y'all's comments now. Outlast is better than both combined. Outcast. Nah, I can't rock with that, Melissa. I love me some Outcast though. We got all the albums done, baby.
Yeah, and that's what I was just thinking. Actually, I actually bought all their albums, and I don't have either of Biggie's albums actually anymore, and I don't have any Tupac albums, but I've got all of Outkast albums.
You know what?
So you put your money where your mouth is, I guess.
I'm just saying.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. So, okay, now this is the first situation, and this is an acquaintance. I'm not going to say friend. She does not live in Louisville, but she and I were talking about her friend. And her friend has a boyfriend. I need y'all to follow me. She has a boyfriend that she loves very dearly. They've been together for some years. I think she said like 7 or 8 years. And she's really busy. He's really busy, but he's really busy always cheating on her. And she's just at a point, I don't think he works or he makes a lot of money. But she's at a point where she needs him to do what he does, and she doesn't really care about his cheating. But her friends won't let it go. Her friends care. They keep catching them, and they keep wanting her to do something. She keeps reacting, but she's reacting for the benefit of her friends, but she really doesn't care because she don't like having sex that much with him. So I want to know, At what point do you stop interjecting your opinion in your friend's situation? You didn't post that last comment. I didn't think you would, Miss Bryant, because it didn't really make much sense. Somebody really must love Outkast, but it didn't make sense to say that they better than Biggie and Pac combined, or Jay-Z and Eminem combined, any of the four combined. It just is no. Now, you could say they may be more creative, but not better. No. So my whole thing was, it's like, if you've got a situation where it works for your relationship for him to be out cheating, like you just rather him, use the bathroom on somebody else, it could never work for me. But if that was my friend's life and she was okay with it, how could you keep making it your problem and your issue? And why would you keep like sending pictures to the girl to prove that her dude ain't, clearly she's okay with it? Could you be friends with a person that would let a dude dog her like that? Could you be okay in your soul? This is some Kansas City stuff. This ain't no Louisville stuff. Melissa. You didn't write that? Well, what are you writing? Who's writing for you, girl? She said she didn't write that comment either. Like, no, seriously, I just feel like if your relationship works and you've got an open relationship and that works for you, don't worry about nobody else. And if your friends want to keep meddling in your business, they ain't your friends. Cut them off. It's like, if we had an open, like, we ain't never gonna have that, so don't even ask. Don't even ask, mister. But if we had an open relationship, say, and it was just basically like, okay, well, I don't want to find out about it. Do what you do, but I don't want to find out about it. You better cut it right. Do what you do, but I don't want to find out about it. But your friends keep sending you pictures of me doing stuff with this one and that one and this one and how would you like block your friends, like, after you've had a conversation with them?
If there's no drama, people just want there to be drama, then you got to wonder what their ulterior motive is to want there to be drama.
Right. Like, why I can't just be happy with my
I tell you, plenty of friends of mine. I'm not a cheater, but I've had plenty of good friends that were. And I didn't like it, but I didn't really get involved in it either, Yeah,
because you got to cheat a friend. Like, if I got to cheat a friend, don't call me. I'm not your excuse. I'm not going to help you.
Yeah.
I'm not promoting that.
I'm not helping.
I
might try in my limited ability to lie. Like, is he a good guy? Yeah, he's a good guy. No, he's not. Damn, I can't even lie for anybody else.
He would cheat on you, girl. He gonna cheat on you. Thank you, Miss Sherry. He gonna cheat on you, girl. But he's a good guy. Other than that, yeah, he paid the bills and cheat on you, girl. You know you can't lie. Don't even try. Be like, yeah, I love him. Good to me. Good guy. Just leave it at that. Don't even speak on his abilities as a man and as a husband. You're gonna ruin it, and then you're gonna be out a friend, and you don't have that many. You don't have that many. And it's not his fault he don't have friends. Well, it is his fault. David is very mean. I personally just stay to myself and worry about my situation. I'm my friend would just have to learn for themselves. That's right.
What's that?
DJ I said that friend would just have to learn for themselves. That's it. I ain't asking. You better not ask. You ask me, I tell you. But other than that, I ain't running in nothing. So
I'm not mean.
He's mean.
I've seen I'm just people, not, like that person that just makes friends with everybody that I meet. I'll really tell you, my best friend, me and him were on the same tank in Desert Storm. That was like 91.
If you ain't shared a tank with this man, you ain't a friend of his.
Yeah, most of my best friends, came out of the Army. I spent time with them in different places. But, yeah, I'm not the kind of person that makes a lot of friends. That's just me. But the friends I have are good friends.
Yes, they are. But don't try to be a new person and be his friend, because he will curve you. I have seen guys, how guys, you see somebody, you ain't seen them in a while, or y'all might link up and the guy's like trying to really make a play date, like, hey, man, maybe I can come over Sunday and watch the game. They be like, Yeah, baby. Yeah, it was nice seeing you. And I'd be like, man, he was really trying to link up. And Dave don't want no friends. He'd be like, I don't want nothing to do with none. No, stay over there. Leave me alone. But like, oh my baby. As long as it ain't me keeping you from having friends, because I feel like you should have your own little set of friends. Just like I got my own little set of friends.
Mm-hmm.
But really, we be each other's friend, don't we?
Yeah.
Always at the house.
Yeah.
My baby.
That's me.
Okay, and I wanted to get some relationship advice for moving on after a breakup, because I have another friend that's going through this, but she's actually doing good. She's like on her way with it. She's got it figured out, but she really don't. Because we had a conversation yesterday, and she thought she had things figured out, but I'm gonna tell you what she said to me, all in the same breath. She said that she's dating this guy, she likes him, but she don't want him sleeping with this other girl. But at the end of the day, she's just in it for sex. And she says that if she finds out that he's still sleeping with the other girl, she's done having sex with him. What kind of sense does that make, y'all? What kind of sense? What that makes, what's that? I told her she's confused. She likes him a whole lot and don't want to like him. And that's just it. Hey, Galaney, I see you. VA in the building. So she likes him a whole lot, but she don't know, she don't want to. And she don't want to admit that she does. Because if she didn't like him, she wouldn't care about that other girl being over there, right? If it was just about sex. So my advice to people coming out of relationships, take some time for yourself. Figure out what it is that you want. Figure out what it is that you need and require in a relationship. Do not get into another situation before you have figured out what happened with the last situation. A lot of times we can point at one little incident that actually caused the breakup, but we never want to look back to see our behavior during the relationship. Are you checking your behavior throughout this marriage, David?
Am I checking my what?
Behavior.
Yeah, I think so.
I am too. It's important. You have to, like me and David, I know we seem all cute and stuff. We have our disagreements. We do. But it's important that you check your behavior during the disagreements and make sure that you're still always like in my last relationships, if we had a disagreement, the respect went out the window. All of this was disrespectful talk. Like I have one of the worst mouthpieces on the planet. Like I literally have a terrible mouthpiece. Like I was so scared when I got with Dave because he's such a nice guy. I'm like, please don't ever do nothing to make that other side come out. Because she in there. She's suppressed way down up deep in my soul. But she's in her. And I used to talk like really bad to my exes. And I felt justified. I was angry. They made me that way. But there was really no way for a woman to talk to a man. And it took me years after that last relationship to actually realize how I was handling men in my relationships was wrong. The way I would handle a man, I was definitely going to drive any good man away from me. Because what good man wants to be handled that way? No good man wants to be handled, period. Like, first stop handling me. Unhand me, woman, first and foremost. But I was like the bully, and you can't be no bully in no relationship, especially if you're the woman. Because if you find yourself being the bully and you the woman, I got to question your man. What kind of man is you mating with? So I think you should definitely, coming out of a relationship, you need to start checking yourself. Write down all the things that you think are you. And then I want you to start checking your own behavior with other people. And then check your list to make sure the things that you account for yourself and the attributes that you say that you have are actually there. And that you're actually honing those good attributes. Because I didn't for a long time, because I didn't realize that I had the bad attributes. Like I didn't realize that the way I talked to men, was going to be a problem. weak this, weak that, broke this, broke that. Like, honey, you picked him. He was broke when you met him. That's another thing. And you act like you don't hear this part. Ladies, stop having sex early after a breakup. Because if you have sex early and the sex is good, you're going to find yourself stuck with the wrong man. Humans don't always need to be in relationships. Sometimes we must worry about relating to ourselves. Girl, if you don't say it again, say it again. Relate to your damn self. Fix yourself. Like, seriously, I'm playing, but I'm being very serious. Fix your own problems. Like, fix what's wrong with you. Like, if you say the last man that you had dogged you out and he kept dogging you, you really need to self-examine yourself and figure out why you would allow a person to continuously dog you. That's not a normal behavior. Something's missing in your brain. You don't value yourself as you should. Would you take your hand and keep putting it over the fire if your hand got burned? Then you don't keep letting somebody hurt you in that way. So sometimes after you come out of a relationship that you really love that person and you like dog tired hurt, you need to take that time to yourself. It sounds cliche, but I promise you, I was single for years and didn't really think nobody was going to come along that I could actually accept, because after taking all that time off from relationships, I had gotten to know myself so well that it's just certain stuff that I wasn't going to deal with that I had been dealing with in the past. But when you get to know yourself and get to know what really makes you tick and the things that you need to make you get by, it's hard taking in somebody that ain't doing right by you. Like, I got to be bothered with you. Like seriously, I'm serious, Miss Bryant. It's like, why I got to, like, why do people get in relationships and feel like they have to stay there? Like, when they not doing you right, you don't have to stay with that person.
I think sometimes though, you feel like you've invested in a relationship, so sometimes say, well, just walk away from it. But it's like anything, really, a relationship, it's just like anything. If you've invested in it and you've put time in it, then, you're unlikely to just easily walk away from it. I mean, that's just human nature to me. Most people anyway, Okay. I mean, at a certain point, situations that I've been in,
Ain't no damn way.
Could
I'm sorry.
well,
I'm
but
sorry.
seriously,
Yeah.
and maybe you're married or maybe you're not. But, if you've invested it, and then you look at the life you've got, and there's a whole lot, it's just like anything. I mean, it's like a job, right? You may know your job ain't nothing, and you may know your boss ain't nothing, and you may know they don't care about you, and they are not treating you right, and they are not paying you what you're worth, and you know all that. But still, it's the known versus the unknown. You're just going to walk away from it. There's an unknown there. I mean, to me, it's perfectly understandable. Now, certainly, when you're talking about, violence, if somebody's doing you physical or emotional harm, abuse, talking about a different situation.
Yeah. Well, what type of, you talking about, like a cheating situation? You can just stay in it?
I'm not saying you should, clearly, but I am saying I understand why. I really do understand why people do. Gotcha. I really do. I understand why people do.
I definitely understand why people
Especially
do.
because there's emotions in it. I mean, somebody can treat you like absolute dog crap and you still love them.
Yeah. There's a lot of crack mamas out there whose crack babies love them to death.
Yep.
You're absolutely right. But and I'm not saying that I don't understand why they stay. I absolutely do, but I'm trying to tell these people, stop it. Because to me, you owe yourself an explanation at the end of the day. It's like, I can forgive you, David, because you cheated, but then I got to answer to myself of why did I forgive you when we had an agreement, we had a commitment. I held up my end of the commitment, but you didn't hold up your end. So why am I forgiving you? Is it because, and sometimes, like you said, it's because people get used to their situations. But at the end of the day, was you thinking about this situation when you went and cheated? It's like I feel like you trying me. Like if you go out and cheat on me, you like daring me to leave you because I don't know how
Well,
to.
that's really your point, though, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you can understand why if you're in a relationship, you stay in it longer than it's maybe really best for you to stay in. But that's why you ought to be a little bit more careful about getting into another relationship until you figure out what
Why
happened.
exactly?
So you don't put yourself in the same position
Because
all
things
over
happen.
again.
Things happen.
Because they're easy to get into, but they're hard to get out of sometimes. It's just like anything. It's just like financial decisions or work decisions. I mean, it's awful easier to get into a situation sometimes than it is to get out of it. So I think that's what you're saying is.
And then there's a factor of change. People don't like change, but I just want people to see, like, especially like he said, in the situations where it's a domestic violence situation or it's a situation where you're being emotionally abused or someone is verbally attacking you on a consistent basis, making you feel a certain way about yourself. Those situations you are never better off staying in because they only get worse. They literally only get worse.
And the warning signs are usually there pretty early.
And that's
everybody knows what those are. So it's like the first time somebody puts their hand around your neck or just hits you once, you know what I'm saying? I mean, or you can tell if people are controlling. You can tell if somebody can't stand for you to be out of sight, for 5 minutes without accusing you of doing something you didn't even do. I mean, all these kind of little warning signs. They all kind of go together normally, don't they? I mean, those people that are controlling, often comes with domestic violence.
Yeah.
I mean, they're red flags for sure. So those are definitely things where, and them before you're deep in. I just can't believe, I just don't feel like people really hide their true nature that well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even in a few dates, you kind of know if somebody's a little bit creepy or not, right? You kind of know if they're being overly controlling. You can tell, how they're. I mean, look, hell, I get road rage bad. Bad.
If you ever want to see David get angry, just ride with him down Cane Run Road about 3:30. Hey, dog.
So but you got to pay attention to those things, and that might have been a huge
I just got to pay attention.
Right?
Make sure you leave the gun at home.
That might have been a big problem for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't deal with people with road rage.
Right.
You kind of have it yourself a little bit, so
So I understand it. Now I don't. It's not that I don't like his road rage. I don't understand it. I just don't understand how he lives. Because this man, how you got road rage but you won't hit your horn? Hit the horn, bang! Because I lay on it. You cut me out. All of that.
Or you'll do it for me.
Right.
I'm driving and she's flipping people off,
Because we ain't no punks. Because we ain't no punks.
One day you're going to catch the wrong one.
Right. Take it then. Take it then. So I definitely understand why people say, like, I'm going to tell you, my mother was in an abusive relationship for a very long time. So that's just some stuff that I'm never going to deal with. I'm never going to deal with a man putting his hands on me. I'm just not. That's not love. I thought that when I was 2. I thought that when I was 3. I used to say, well, how does my daddy love my mama if he fight my mama all the time? And I'm 3 years old trying to reconcile this in my brain. And then from that thought, it goes to, well, my boyfriend's not going to hit me because I'm not going to be his girlfriend if he hit me. And I've stuck with that. That's the way I took it in. That's the way I processed it. Everybody don't process it like that. Some people process it where the father's beating on the mother, and now the child feels like that's love. They say they love each other, and this is how you act when you're in love. So when that child gets older, she's now looking for a father. Like, she's looking for a man like her father. She's looking for him. She's looking for that abusive guy that's going to show his love through his fist, and that's why I say you have to be careful the things that you do and say around your kids and the things that you allow to happen around your kids. Because you could be getting your butt beat, not thinking he ain't hitting your child, but now your child is learning this is what love looks like. So I say to women, when you stay in an abusive relationship and you have children, you are teaching those children what love in a relationship looks like. If you have sons, you're teaching him. If your woman doesn't do as you say, or she gets to talking at the side of her neck, you hit her upside her head, and she'll stay with you. But if your man hits you and your kids see your man hitting you, and then they see you throwing his shit out, that's the lesson you have taught those kids. Oh, if a man hits me, he got to go. If I hit a woman, she's going to put me out. These are all things that these are all lessons that we don't think about, that we're teaching the kids that we are, but subliminally, I always knew after my first baby daddy, those that know him know what he did for a living, that I didn't want no drug dealers. I didn't want no dope dealers in my life. But subliminally, I felt like because a dope dealer wasn't going to be my boyfriend for real, he was going to be everybody's boyfriend. Whoever needed a woo, a bump, or whatever was going to be his girlfriend for that moment. So I didn't want that. But subliminally, I really didn't want my kids seeing that. I didn't even realize I was, because I would meet guys and they would be nice, but I would be like, oh, no, you're not for that. I would be like, yeah, we can have fun, but you're not for meeting the kids and you're not for going to my house. And, but subliminally, I was protecting my kids from that lifestyle, because kids are very impressionable. So you might be going to work every day. You might have a drug dealer boyfriend, and the kids see him all the time and they know what he does. And now they want the things that he's gotten. Before you know it, he's recruiting your kids to do his work. Y'all might have done broke up, but he's still coming back and hollering at your son. Type stuff. So you just don't. I never wanted to bring those type of men around my kids. But so I had a lot of years where I just didn't have anyone. Like, I slept with my kids. My daughter would come and climb in the bed with me. My sons would, and we just sleep snoring. That was the life. I might fall asleep on the couch. I got one sleeping on the other end, two sleeping on the floor. We would just powwow, and that was my life. And I got to really know myself, and I got to really know the things that would work for my kids, the type of man that I could really incorporate into their lives, where it wouldn't be so traumatizing for them having me for so long, and now here comes another man into the home when I've got 3 sons. So I would say, if you are coming out of a relationship, take time to get to know yourself. Like, I got so much with this man that I didn't even ask for. I had been through so much with these men out here in these streets, y'all. I'm like, please just let them be straight. Please don't let him like that, nothing up the tailpipe, and let him be an honest man and be faithful. And I didn't even ask for integrity, and that's like very important. You can ask for a man to trust you, or somebody you can trust, but if they ain't trustworthy, it's worth a damn. Like, you ever trusted a cheater? Like, you got to know to ask for that integrity, and you got to know how to point out a man of integrity or a woman of integrity. If she always trying to scheme and get stuff, she a booster. She ain't got no damn integrity. I hope y'all ain't out here trying to marry no boosters. She gonna steal from your ass. I see Chris Sanders. I see Honey Crenshaw, Satina Williams, Brandon Barlow, Leisha. How y'all doing? Y'all see my special guest. Y'all missed my gift card giveaway. And we are taking relationship questions if y'all have any. We've had such a good show today. We still got a little bit of time left. Y'all ready for Christmas? I know I am. I'm ready for it to be over with. That's right. The kids is finally out of school. Thank you, God. I don't have to get up and do Brooklyn's hair in the morning. I'm sorry, JC, but I'm just ready for it to be over with. And I'll still say JC because a lot of people are Christians.
And hopefully 2018 will be a better year than 2017 was. Let's hope for that.
Yeah, 2017.
2017 been rough for a lot of people. Ain't been a good year in the Ville.
Hey, Mr. Brandon, how you doing now? Yeah, it's been a tough year. I see y'all. Thanks for the shout out. You know what, Mr. Saunders, always. Big guy, always. Yeah, 2018 is coming. This is the last show before Christmas, and then we got one more show. One more show before New Year's. What are y'all doing for New Year's? I was thinking about doing a little domino or card party, baby. I want to.
Yeah, we can. The BYOB
You already know.
this year.
Shoot. BYOB, if y'all come to my New Year's party, hit my inbox if y'all want to come because probably nobody's going to want to come because they probably already have plans or whatever. I know Miss Honeybee will come. And I just want to play dominoes, play spades. I actually want to play some tonk for quarters. I definitely want to play some tonk. Get some bourbon going. Bring the bourbon, baby. Honey's my bougie friend. Ooh. Honey just got her another degree. Was that a master's degree, Miss Honey? The last instance of domestic violence was spring of 2007, but I still remember like yesterday. Your hubby is awesome, but will never understand until he is the victim. Tyra, love you, but it just happened. No signs till it was happening. Well, baby, did you leave him? We'll drink some with you, Miss Honey. Ain't like we're gonna be driving. Miss Melissa, did you leave him? That's crazy because sometimes when people have
obviously, well, first of all, my hope is, we talk, there's a lot of sexual harassment news, My hope is the whole Me Too environment might help in other areas too, because really it's like a whole spectrum of disrespect. It really is, and certainly the worst end of it is domestic violence, and all the things that go along with that. But really, disrespect for it seems our whole culture is built around disrespect now. I mean, really, everybody's got contempt for everybody else now. It's like nobody has any respect for anybody anymore. That's kind of like part of our culture now. So I'm hoping that'll things will start moving the other way. Definitely men got to start taking responsibility. And I think we understand that a little bit, that, when somebody brags about sexual harassment, sexual assault, just standing there and watching isn't cutting it anymore.
Right.
It's not cutting it anymore. Certainly, we got to be responsible for our own behavior. It boggles my mind. I mean, it happened to you just, a week ago. It boggles my mind that you would send a nasty picture to somebody without being asked to send it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody just randomly send a woman a picture of your junk. What kind of douchebag does that? There's a lot of douchebags out there clearly that do it because we hear it all the time. Yep, that happened to me. That happened to me. That happened to me. That happened to me. Holy crap. All right, we're getting some answers now. What do we got?
Yeah, she said, before I knew he was trafficking. So he was trafficking drugs and you didn't know. He got busted 3 months after I left him. Well, girl, you left on time, honey. Because it's so many women going to jail off of they men selling these drugs. But I never knew what he was up to. See, you have to ask yourself too, what was his work hours? When did he disappear? Like sometimes it be clues, but we might be taking whatever little excuse they gave us of what they do with that time. You know what I'm saying? If he was moving some weight, then he was, you had some signs. You might have mistook him or took his word for it.
Especially when it comes to domestic violence, I'd definitely be saying to myself, trying to figure out what I could have seen. And maybe, and certainly it's possible that there wasn't anything you could see. It can't,
Some people
certainly the first time it happens, it may very well be that you saw no warning signs before the first time it happens. The second time that it happens, the warning sign was the first time that it happened. So, without a doubt, nothing's simple. It's never simple. It's never simple. You've got kids with somebody and he's beating you, You're married to somebody and he's beating you. He's the breadwinner in the family and he's beating you. I mean, nothing's ever simple, you know. And then on top of it, the worst part is convincing anybody, right? Number one, convincing the cops that there's really a problem, letting the cops into your personal life, feeling guilty, which people do. They feel like it's their fault. Ain't your fault. If I hit you, it is my fault that I hit you. It's not your fault. Nothing excuses it, but still hard to remember that. And then this is somebody who's already shown that they're going to be violent, right? So then it's like, okay, if I bring the cops in or I try to get a restraining order, blah, 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 is he going to, what's he going to do then? I don't know if any of us have any simple answers, to be honest with you. I don't know if there is any simple answers other than, I think, like you said, you know, we got to be good examples for the kids that are coming behind us.
And we got to think about what we're letting our kids witness. Like, I had a situation, like, I'm so fortunate. Like, I'm telling y'all, my mouth is bad. Like, it has been bad over the years with these men. Like, I just feel like if you're going to talk to me crazy, and I'm going to talk to you right back crazy. Yeah, you could probably beat me up, but guess what? I can fight too. So my mama gave me a mouth. I'm going to talk. I've always been that way. And so from the beginning, I would tell a guy, like, I don't know what you're used to, but I am not the woman that you put your hands on. I'm the one that's going to call everybody to come and get you if you don't kill me. You know, so it's definitely, it happens for the first time. My only advice to you is if you've never been hit by this man that you're with and he actually decides to hit you one day, get out right then. Figure it out right then. Do not give him a chance to swoon you and keep you, because you are teaching him how to treat you. And if you have let him put hands on you and you stayed with him, it is not going to get any better. It will only get worse. I watched my father nearly take my mother's life before she decided to get away from him. With my own eyes. I can never take that image away from me. I can never erase it. First grade. With a butcher knife. So when I tell you it don't get better, it don't. So I have sympathy for battered women, but it's running thin, because at some point you have got to put on your big girl panties and say, he's not going to kill me without me trying to stop him. Because if somebody wants to kill you, true enough, there's not a whole lot you can do to stop them, but you can at least try. Don't lay down like a punk and let them do it. At least fight for your life. At least try. Especially, at least let your kids see you try. Don't let them see you lay down and take a beating over and over and over again, because I'm telling you, you're teaching them inadvertently. And they don't need that lesson. They never need to see or feel that lesson. They need to see you. I didn't see or understand the mental abuse until I felt the physical, and I left when that happened. That's all you can do, baby. But anytime, you got to think about, how's this person making me feel about myself? Like, you can feel a certain way about yourself, and then it doesn't necessarily have to be your boyfriend. It could be a homegirl that always want to come in and make you feel a certain way about yourself. You may have put on your best, and you ready to go out, and you ready to shake a tail feather, and your homegirl said, I wouldn't have wore that. You know, but she always got something like, get them people away from you. That dude that was mentally, if you might not remember what he said, but you remember how he made you feel. When they make you feel a certain way, whether it's relationship, friendship, let them go. Don't ignore those feelings. Those feelings are real. You can try to address it and give a person a chance to correct it. But if they don't, take that as your warning sign. God just tapped you on the shoulder and said, baby, not this one. Because everybody that comes in your life is going to want to stay, but everybody don't deserve to stay. And sometimes we will get caught up, trying to keep seasonal people permanently. We will get caught up, and it'll have our whole weather chart off. Like, why it keep raining on my head? You have to let them seasonal people go when it's time. And that's all you can do, Miss Melissa. But, but going forward, what you will do, you'll be a stronger woman. You'll be a better woman, because you'll be able to pick those signs out. That man that's willing to let you feel as small as you are, as he wants you to be, And a lot of times it's because they ain't got their stuff together. A lot of times when a person is trying to bring you down, it's because they ain't holding their weight. I got another friend. She was dealing with this ugly dude. When I say ugly dude, I mean ugly dude. Ugly broke dude. Ugly broke. But she is so freaking gorgeous. But she's dealing with this dude thinking that she needs to deal with him because she's been dealing with him for so long. And I'm like, honey, he's always talking bad to you because he's afraid that you're going to wake up and realize just how ugly he is. And when you wake up and realize how ugly he is, you are not going to want to be bothered with him. So it's his job to make you feel like you just as ugly as he is. So that when you do wake up and realize that he's ugly, you will already be thinking that you ugly too. You got to get away from them. I love you more. But you just, like, what didn't kill you made you stronger. So now the next one will not be able to come in and knock you down verbally, and damn sure won't be able to pull that fist back physically. Because you're stronger and you can spot it now. Friends for seasons and reasons. You better believe it. You better believe it. You better believe it. Don't be dying, Miss Brianna. How you doing, baby? I'm just keeping it real. Because man, better do what's right for you. So that was just like mainly my relationship advice. Don't be afraid to get to know yourself. Don't be afraid to tell your friends you single. And you ain't got to rub it in nobody's face either, because everybody knows it's not fun being single. Ha. Ha. It's fun for about 5 minutes. He was only single for about 5 minutes, so he knows.
Yeah, just about.
But single is only fun for like 5 minutes. I love being able to go in the bed and say, you know what, I'm going to have some fun and swing on a pole tonight. I love being able to do it. No, that pole ain't been nowhere but in my bed. I love it. It's awesome. But I love being single just as much. I'm lying. I hated being single. Nobody thought about me for holidays, for my birthday, for nothing. But now, I'm important. What's your purpose, baby?
You.
He said it twice. I heard him say it twice. So I'm not an advocate for singledom. Singledom is very, very lonely, but singledom is very, very necessary. Because you might not even feel like you've been single for 6 months. And by the time you get finished going through all the things you need to go through for yourself and evaluating yourself and making sure you're being the very best you that you can be, you might not even feel like you were single for a year. It might not even feel, and when I say take time for yourself, I'm not saying don't have sex. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, it's better if you don't. Sex confuses things. I've told you guys this. We'll talk about that in depth next week. But I'm not saying don't have sex. I'm just saying take time to figure things out. Don't jump into another situation before you figure out how you helped the last situation go wrong. I know it's hard to say, but everybody plays a part in a breakup. I know. It's hard for me to admit that I played my parts, but my biggest part was my big mouth, you know. It wasn't good for my relationships, you know. And so I curbed that. I figured that out. This one here, he doesn't know when I'm trying to be good and trying to be quiet and stuff. So sometimes he likes to keep going.
The good thing is, though, I'm a de-escalator anyway, so arguments only going to get so far before I'm going to back it off a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He be letting me have the last word when I ain't ready for the last word. I be having like 17 more words to throw out there, and I be like, okay, I guess that can be the last word since he don't want to argue no more. I had like 4 more comebacks though. If he was only ready, then I was definitely ready for him. So that is pretty much our show for the day. You guys have been great, and I'm gonna go back and read all of these comments that we got, baby. We was important today, and I want y'all to also, if you can, share this video so that people can get a look at the platform, because again, the beginning of next year, I will just be going live from the Speak Your Mind page. And I also just want to let you guys know that there have been some changes with the Speak Your Mind format. Well, things have changed with my regular host, Miss Catty Chick. As you guys know, she has taken on a new position, and she works some different hours. And so we have decided to part ways for the new year. She will be developing a new platform of her own, so please be on the lookout for that. and we will definitely be in support of that. I'm also pushing advertising on this platform. Um, $50 gets you 30 minutes on the show. It also gets you advertising for the following 3 weeks. So if you have a business or you want to help your friend's business, maybe for a Christmas present, you want your friend to be advertised on this platform, please hit my inbox for the information and I will get it back to you. And I can definitely guarantee you a few hundred people will see your advertisement if you do advertise with us. We have a $25 advertising special where if you don't want to come on the show, you can still get a month worth of advertising for $25 on this platform. So again, hit my inbox and let me know if you're interested in advertising or if you want to be possibly a guest host on the show, because I will be having some guest hosts come in and chill with me and entertain the people. So I can just get a feel to see if I want to kind of work this thing alone, if I want to get like another solid full time host. Maybe my baby. I know you guys enjoyed him. I did. I do every day. I just thought I'd be nice and let you have some of him just one time with me watching. So that is basically the news. So I hope I get to keep you guys. I hope you guys do not quit me because of the change up in the platform. But again, I love y'all. Let me see. I'm happily single because I ain't settling with this Trump voting Republican black, but love, respect, and enjoy him for the last 5 years. Not trying to marry or procreate, but loving the safeness of the relationship. If it works for you, boo. But be looking for. I hope he got a pension, girl. Cause you got to get at that age where you got to start looking and think about your future, girl. I'm just saying. It's just good. I just tell him no. If I met my husband, I was like, I ain't got nothing but some pension pussy. That's all I got. I ain't got nothing but some pension pussy. You ain't got no pension. You can't get no pussy. Tuh. Purred. 20s is gone. Double that. Please. Wish I would be out here. You on paychecks. No, wrong P, baby. Pension. Pension. That is the broadcast for the day. I do again want to thank you all for tuning in. I am the comedian Tyra Crush, and this is my husband.
Just Dave.
It's Mr. David Cooley, or should we say Senator David Cooley, elect Senator elect David Cooley. Y'all gonna have to put for real. Like I've really been talking about it, but I really need y'all to help me convince him to run for public office because I'm telling you, he's got the information. The boy got a master's degree. He got 22 years in the military, and he might be your next president. I'm just saying.
Couldn't
Now,
be no worse than what
look,
we got right now.
Look, but I mean, at least I wouldn't be following Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
At least I'd be following HOTUS. Oh my God! I can follow that slut. Like I couldn't follow Michelle though. She's just a little too proper, a little too classy. But I can follow that slut that he got in that office right now. But okay, baby, we gonna get out of here.
All righty.
Thank y'all for watching. Peace. Huh?